Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Street Life Committee meeting of Community Board 8. Today's Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, 6:30. Um, my name is Abraham Salcido. I co-chair this committee along with Lindsay Cormack, who will be unmuted momentarily. So a couple of rules of the road. Um, we are going to go down the agenda and invite each applicant and or their representative to tell us a bit about their application. For the state liquor authority applications, it's helpful if you tell us your hours of operation, if your venue is ADA accessible, if you've had any 311 complaints, if you have any outdoor space that includes rear yard, or if you have plans to use any existing sidewalk or roadway space. That'll help us move and preempt some of the questions from committee members. After I have the applicant or the representative speak, I'm going to inquire whether there's any members of the public for each application. I will take those comments and then I will go to my fellow committee members for any questions, comments, or motions. As a reminder, any action taken by this committee will go to the full board meeting, which is Wednesday, April 17th. A few other rules of the road. Please make sure that you direct all questions, comments to the co-chairs, not to any member of the public or any other committee member. I'd like to avoid any crosstalk. A reminder that everyone here has the right to speak and voice their opinion, but I'd like to keep any comments to the merits of the application that we're speaking of. Please do your best to keep your comments brief, and anyone that can't follow the rules of decorum will lose their speaking privileges. So I think that is that for the process. Robert, I will hand over to you for the technical support element.
Sure. Thank you, Abraham. Welcome. If this is your first time joining us virtually, you'll notice that you are currently muted and that everyone will remain muted throughout the meeting except the committee co-chairs Lindsay and Abraham and any presenters. Following the presentations, the co-chairs will call on members of the public who wish to speak. You can participate by going to the reactions icon on your device and pressing the raise hand button, not the wave or the thumbs up, as those will disappear. Only press it once. If you press it a second time, your hand will go back down. If you're calling in from the phone, it is *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. Please be on the lookout for a prompt asking you to confirm unmuting once one of the coaches calls on you. The chat is available for technical support only, to resume software problems, not to ask questions of the co-chairs or the presenters. They won't see these chats. If you're using an older version of Zoom, you need to go to the participants section where you'll find the raise hand feature there. Please not raise your actual hand or wave at the screen because we may not be able to see you. Chat me. I'm here for support. Lindsay and Abraham, back to you.
Great, thank you, Robert. So first I want to just make sure I have the committee member list correct. So I have myself, Lindsay, Addison, Bill, Brian, Cos, Marco, Robin, Russell, and I also see John Phillips on, which gives us 10. So
I think Abraham, John Phillips logged in. I think that's his father.
Okay, good to know. Thank you very much. So I will remove him. And then I see a participant as CB8. Is that us or?
That's the staff.
Okay. All right, great. So then we have 9 total. Okay, great. Lindsay, do you want to do the tally of item 4?
Sure. So, welcome everyone. We have an application for the New York State Office of Cannabis Management for a new adult use retail dispensary. And we wanted to take just a quick pull at the top of this, if there's anyone here who's coming to speak to that. So if you can just use the raised hand icon and we can just see who's here to talk about that application.
Any members of the public or the applicant themselves?
I'm not seeing any.
Nor am I. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm okay going with the agenda in order, just since we don't have any public members to keep waiting. Okay, great. All right. So in that case, we will go with the agenda in order. The first item on the agenda is item 1A, Chef Adriano Inc., 1198 First Avenue. This is an new application for temporary wine, beer, and cider. Do we have the applicant or their representative?
If you're here for this application, please raise your virtual hand. I see Adrian here. Let me see if this is him.
Hello to
Adrian,
everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, it's me. Hello to everybody.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I am here just to confirm today that for a little change in our application regard the storage of the wine and beer in our basement, which is required by law. We actually receive our permanent wine and beer license. So it's just a little correction about when we applied, like by law, we have to share with you that we are so we're gonna store our wine and beer in the basement, in our basement.
I see. So we had already heard you, and this was just so this is a modification that you're required to reappear because of the change in the storage of your wine.
Yes, exactly.
You've already received your license from SLA.
Yes,
Okay.
like a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Thank you very much for that clarification. That's very helpful.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to inquire whether there's any members of the public on this application. I also see we've been joined by Evan. And is that our Casey? Okay, seeing no members of the public, I'll go to the committee members in order. Cause, Marco, Bill.
Yeah, have you applied for the new DOT application for the street or sidewalk?
I think we need it.
Yes, correct. Yeah, that everything is the same.
That wasn't his question. He was asking whether or not you're going to apply or you have applied for the outdoor dining program, either sidewalk cafe or roadway dining.
Yes, probably in the future we will, and in the application there is, so we were also declaring that one we will most likely apply for that.
Okay, so you'll come back to us for that.
Sure.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, Abraham, maybe all the applicants can state whether they have or will be applying. That way it will save me asking the same question.
Okay, we can do that. Also, just a reminder, it is noted on the actual applications as well. Okay, Marco?
Thank you. I would like to put a motion. The motion is to approve as presented. Thank you.
Second? You have a couple of seconds. Bill, to call the question, probably?
Call the question.
Wonderful. Okay, great. So this is a motion to approve as presented. If anyone, assuming no one opposes calling the question, if you're going to be voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, please let me know with an indicator. Otherwise, you will go down as a yes vote. And for the tally, I do now have 11 since we were joined by Casey Lally and by Evan. So I have 11 total. Anyone voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining? Okay, seeing none, that will go as an 11-0 approval. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item. This is Make Thai. Do I have the representative or the applicants for Make Thai 1099 First Avenue new application for liquor, wine, beer, and cider. As a reminder, let us know hours of operation, ADA accessibility, any complaints, and whether or not you're going to be using any outdoor space, sidewalk, cafe, or roadway, and whether you have any outdoor rear space. So thank you very much. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
This is the owner of Make Thai, Make Thai Inc. Doing business as Grata Thai. The hours of operation are 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. There is an ADA accessibility by way of ramp, and will not be applying for sidewalk or roadway dining. And there is outdoor space in the back, however, it's currently not in use. That may be a possibility in the future, but currently no.
Okay, great. That's good to hear. Thank you. Are there any members of the public with questions for this application?
Oh, I'm sorry. I also forgot about the 911 311 calls.
Okay.
Yep. Just to say there was one 911 call that was made in January, and that was due to a break-in. Since subsequent to the break-in, cameras and new doors and locks, etc., have been installed to try to prevent any.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so going to committee members, since I see no public hands. Bill?
Is it ADA compliant?
He did say that there is a ramp and
Okay.
they are compliant, yes.
Okay, so I would make a motion to approve as presented.
I see a second from Addison, but I
See what Marco when I let to talk.
has a comment, so Marco, I will go to you.
Mr. Chair, I think it's when you have to put a motion, you can speak. Once you speak, you cannot put a motion at all. I'm going to support that the motion, but the person has to state at the beginning what is their intention and then to speak. So I think in the way that is doing Robert rules, I think is wrong. I think I call for parliament procedure. Thank you.
Thank you. Addison?
Well, if it'll make Marco happy, I'll make the motion to approve this as presented. And then if I get a second, Marco can call the question.
You have some
You get a
seconds. Okay, great. Thank you, Addison. Marco?
I think this is no matter to be happy. This is regulations, Robert rules, please. The question that I have is, I would like to support with one condition. You cannot use the rear yard unless you have the certificate of occupancy, 1. And 2, I would like to know oh, thank you. So if you are willing to do that, I will support the application.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Addison?
Call the question.
I don't know that you can, if we're being suckers, I don't think you can call your own question, right?
I'll call the question.
Thank you, Lindsay. Okay. Okay, so does anyone oppose calling the question? I'm guess not. This is a motion to approve with the stipulation the backyard will not be used unless there's a certificate of occupancy that demonstrates it is lawfully allowed to be used. Okay.
And Abraham, I just want to flag that we were joined by 2 board members, Jennifer Bear Michaels and Lori Boris. I'm not sure if they're voting on this item.
Let's find out. Lori and Jennifer, did you capture enough to join the vote?
Yes, I'll be voting.
Okay.
Hi. No, I will not be voting.
Okay. All right. Okay. So if anyone's voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, give me an indicator. Otherwise, this will go down as a yes vote. No, not voting for cause or abstaining. Okay. Seeing none, thank you very much. This is a 12-0 approval. And good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, next item. Do I have the representative Fork and Cork, new application, wine, beer, and cider, DBA Bar Vivant, 164 East 88th.
If
It
you're
looks
here
like
for
Ann O'Hare.
Yes.
Hello. Good
Hello,
evening.
Ann.
I'm one of the owners of Bar Vivant. We are, hours of operation should be, I think we have 4 o'clock Monday through Friday till about midnight, weekends starting possibly at 1 in the afternoon. The bathroom I know is ADA accessible. I actually am not certain about the front door, but I think it is. We're grade with the street, so we don't need a ramp or anything like that.
Okay.
Was there any other?
Yes. Do you plan to do you have any outdoor space in the back? And do you
No.
plan to apply for any of the outdoor dining programs, either sidewalk or roadway?
Thank you. We have not, but I don't think we plan to, but that might change, but I doubt it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then just in terms of the application that was submitted, the hours of operation, I think, are 4 to 10 Monday through Thursday, 4 to 11 Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, 1 to 11.
Yes.
Okay, great. Do I have any members of the public with questions or comments on this application? Okay, seeing none, I will go to my committee members, starting with Cause Spagnoletti.
Abraham, we do have a member of the public's hand up.
Yes. Let's go to Julie Allen first then.
Yes, I live in the building across the street and we have grave concerns about the noise, the lights, the music, the fact that it's food. We haven't ever had a restaurant in that space. We have young children and front apartments that will be affected, and we oppose this very much. We've had a dry cleaner there. We've had for years and years and years. To have a restaurant serving liquor with hours up to 11 or maybe 12, 6 nights a week. I mean, it's really doesn't fit. The middle of the block, there are certainly restaurants on the 3rd Avenue side, and that's it. This is a very poor choice of a space, and we're trying to save our block and have it as quiet as possible. And just to come in here with a restaurant, which is jarring to us.
Great, thank you very much. Do I have any other members of the public before I go to committee members?
Abraham, I see another member of the public waving at the screen.
Arena Langman.
Yes. Hi, thank you. I couldn't put my hand in reactions for some reason, and thank you for unmuting me. I live in the building. I have lived in this building for 30 years, and I do agree that this application is pretty jarring to me. I have 3 questions. 1, in the application, it states that the floors of the building of the establishment is located on ground floor and basement. I would like to know if basement is part of the application. That's unusable basement. It's actually storage and the boiler room. I would like to know whether this is going to be used as a bar. Second question, whether this application needs to be able to answer to 500-foot ruling. If so, I must say there are 21 establishments with active liquor licenses and with wine and beer licenses. Yes, I see your hands. Maybe no. There is also 2 places of worship and very large pediatric dental office. We also have a school down the block. It's within 500 feet. Okay. So these are my questions, and I definitely strongly oppose the establishment like this on the quiet residential block with only in our building we have some small children, and I don't know how many children. And my last question is whether the application, whether the posted supposedly 12 pieces of post-it on the bright paper, notes of today's meeting were posted. I only counted 5. But yes, I strongly oppose that. And I think this should be considered as a voice of the public. I've been living here for 30 years and I strongly oppose it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A couple of points before I let the applicant speak to the use of the basement and any other points. It'll ultimately be up to SLA to look at the 500-foot rule. 500-foot rule applies to establishments on the same street. And for schools and places of worship, it's 200 feet, not the 500 feet. So with that, Anne, do you want to address any of the questions that were raised by Irina?
Yeah, actually, if I remember them all. First of all, I think 500-foot rule does not apply to us because it's just a beer and wine license. The survey that I received from the SLA says that we aren't in violation of any of the 200-foot rules. In fact, I posted 13 notices in the neighborhood, took a picture of every single one of them. The basement is in the lease, and the SLA requires that we say that the basement is in the lease, but there will be no people going down into the basement. It's going to be a lovely, quiet wine bar. We're not going to have, patrons loud and causing any problems on the street for sure. We like to think that we're going to be a quality establishment with a nicely curated wine list. We're not a restaurant. There won't even be any cooking. It's going to be kind of classic wine bar, charcuterie, cheese. And I think it'll be a nice addition to the neighborhood. I don't know if there were any other questions that I haven't answered. I apologize.
I believe that's the ones that I captured as well. I see another hand just went down. Charles Epstein had his hand up, and I see him.
Well, I did see my lawyer, Frank Polillo, had his hand up.
Oh, good. Yes, we should unmute Frank if he's here.
Thank you.
Frank, you're unmuted in case you have.
Hey guys, how are you all? It's been a long time.
Good. Good to see you. Long time.
It's Polillo, and I can't stand when people mispronounce my name. Guys, as Ann has already said, this is a wine and beer license only, not subject to either the 500 or the 200-foot rule. I want to clarify the basement is being used, but it's used for storage only. And on top of everything else, there will be cooking in the premises, but it will be electric cooking only. No odors, no fumes, nothing to disturb the neighbors in any way. I think that's it.
Great, thank you. Robert, I still have Charles Epstein, I think, signaling he had his hand up previously.
Thank you. How big is this area, if anybody knows?
It's less than 400 square feet.
And are there tables anticipated? Again,
Yes.
And how many tables are being participated?
There's going to be 9 tables.
And again, I'm sorry again, the hours that you're talking about, because we're across the street. We own an apartment across the street as well. And again, I've seen it before where there's loitering and people stay out. And the question is, again, this is in the middle of a block. And my concern is just like what other people have said. I don't know if this area is fit for, I don't know if the word is fit, is proper for a restaurant in the middle of the block in such a small area and that type of thing. While you have good intentions, unfortunately, what happens is that there's loitering outside of restaurants and outside of bars, especially a place where there's not anticipated to be serving food as well. So that's my major concern, that this neighborhood, with all due respect, doesn't need a 400 square foot restaurant on the first floor in a very, very residential neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, do I have any other new public hands? Julie, are you adding something new to your prior comments? If so, please keep it brief. Thank you.
I want to know the hours.
The hours are
Application say
listed.
one thing and then the potential owner said something else. Want to know the hours.
So the
Excuse me.
hours that are on the application,
I want to
and-
know what the hours are going to be.
excuse me, the hours that are being filed with the State Liquor Authority are the ones that I'm reading to you now. And those are the ones that have to be abided by because those are on the application. Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday, 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday, 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now, Frank and Ann, are those consistent and are those correct? Because those are the ones that are going to be filed and have to be abided by.
They are, and I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier, but yes, those are the hours.
Okay.
Thank you.
If I could just also add, the hours were carefully taken into consideration about the mid-block and the residential nature. That's why the hours are what they are. We're not looking
Sunday
for
night to 11 o'clock?
11 o'clock.
Please, please. That is ridiculous.
I'm sorry, 11 o'clock is
Get
not
ashamed
late.
of yourself.
I am not ashamed of myself.
All right,
11
can we
o'clock.
Julie, please? I said no crosstalk. Please keep things civil. So with that, I see no other members of the public. So I will go to my committee members' cause first.
Yeah, I've got a question for Frankie here. What is open restaurants on the licensed outdoor area?
It should have been open dining, I believe. It's a sidewalk cafe.
So have you applied for the DOT regulations yet or not?
Ann, have you?
We haven't because we're still undecided as to whether or not we're going to do it. And
Okay.
it's not looking likely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next I will go to Addison, Marco, then Russell.
All right. I would like to make a motion to approve and then speak to it, if that's all right.
You're seconded. Do we have any seconds? I see a couple. Okay.
All right. So I would be in support of this application. I think, we want to be supportive of businesses who have ideas for the neighborhood. With that said, one of the things that came up from the community was concerns about loitering. And so I would ask the applicant if they would be amenable to accepting some form of stipulation that would address loitering concerns in front of the restaurant.
Of course. We're not, I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be, it's not going to be a young crowd that's going to be hanging out outside. It's going to be people who like to drink nice wine and have a nice conversation and yes.
Addison, the suggestion I would make, Addison, to your point, is that we would designate one employee whose job is to make sure there's no one loitering outside. There's no vehicles loitering outside. I think that makes perfect sense.
Great.
I'm good with that. Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Addison. Okay, Marco, then Russell.
Thank you. The neighbor's concern is the mid-block. I just checked in the system, you don't have CO. Do you have CO? Do you have a letter of no objection? I just checked. Can you
We've
tell me
applied,
that?
we don't have,
Letter of no objection or CO?
we don't have it yet, but we will have it by the time we're ready to operate.
When do you think that you're gonna get it in a mid-block in RAV, sir? You're an attorney, you know very well that the regulations.
We have been advised and our architect has confirmed that he will be able to get a letter of no objection for that location.
You cannot get it because it's not RAV. This is mid-block. This is not a commercial space. If we were a commercial space, you can get a letter of no objection. But this is RAV. This is a mid-block, and that's a residential district. It's not the regulations that we can change. That is the regulations of the city regulations. It cannot be encroached more than that. And for that, I think it's wrong to approve something that is unlawful. This is unlawful, sir, because you don't have the right to use as a commercial space in a residential district.
Marco, with all due respect, we're relying on the opinion of a professional architect who has told us that we can get an LNO there. I don't want to argue. I certainly, we never argue, so I don't.
Well, the issue is, personal myself, you have been advised erroneously, because I know very well that a DOV never can approve a letter of no objection in a residential unless you prove that is a grandfather. If it was a grandfather, you gotta prove it and then you gonna get it. If you don't have any grandfather, you're never gonna prove it. And by the way, after 2 years, if you didn't use the space, your grandfather lose.
Right.
I'm sorry to go in that directly, and I think I'm going to oppose the application because it's unlawful. Thank you.
So I think a solution here would be, so one, if they don't get the letter of no objection, they can't open, period. So I would add as a stipulation that obviously you must have a letter of no objection or a CO if you were to open, which is implied because you would need it to operate. So I will add that in there. And if you're confident you can get it, then you are welcome to try. And then if you don't get it, then you won't open, right? So it's kind of it corrects itself, right? Okay, so then with that, I'll go to Russell.
Thanks. So I'm sorry to not be calling the question, but I did just want to speak on this because, I mean, I think this application is pretty reasonable on the whole. You know, there is a fair amount of other commercial establishments on the ground floor on this street. I think the hours are very reasonable, only going to 10 or 11, depending on the night. And I think the fact that it's just a wine bar, you know, I think that's not as concerning as it might be if it were full liquor. And I think with the stipulation that addresses the specific concern that was raised, I think, you know, to me, that's satisfactory. And it sounds like, I mean, I think based on what Abraham said, it sounds like we don't need a stipulation about the certificate of occupancy, but I imagine that, you know, we could add one if we need to, that they won't open without one. I mean, I think that's, you know, sort of necessarily the case, but, you know, I imagine they'd agree to that if that, you know, allays concerns in that regard.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, it would be a letter of no objection, not a certificate of occupancy.
Sorry, I misspoke.
Just
Yeah, understood.
clarify. Thank you.
That's fine. Okay, Cause, you're up. We do have a motion on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, Marco brings up a point that I think we need to clarify right away. I mean, if an applicant does not have a certificate of occupancy or a LNO, a letter of no objection, they're not going to open. If they don't have a Department of Health, they're not going to open. So should we be concerned with these rules and regulations that if they don't have all the legal forms, they're not going to open? So it's not up to us to say, oh, you need this, this, and this. If they don't have it, they're not opening.
That's correct. Okay. Would anyone like to call the question on Addison's motion to approve with the stipulation? Lindsay.
Call the question.
Okay, thank you. Anyone opposed calling the question? Okay, this is a motion to approve with the stipulation on having a dedicated employee to ensure that there's no loitering. I will add in the language about the letter of no objection, even though, again, it's required if they were going to open it all. So if anyone's voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining, please give me a sign. Marco.
I'm not going to support anything unlawful. No.
Thank you very much. And just for clarification, we are not supporting anything that's unlawful. We're saying if they are able to lawfully obtain the requisite documentation, that we would approve it.
I'm
Anyone
sorry
else voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining? Okay, so that's a 12-1 with the steps. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
On to the next item. Do we have the 1D for Nomad 373 LLC, DBA Raphael, 973 Lexington? This is a liquor, wine, beer, and cider application. 973 Lexington.
Me again.
Oh, hey, Frank.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Unmute, Esty.
Esty lead.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, good evening.
This is Raphael Hasid.
Hi.
Rafi's got numerous restaurants. You saw his list of places. It's quite extensive. This will be a full restaurant. I don't have the hours of operation in front of me. Just a second. Hold on. Do you have the hours of operation?
973 Lexington Avenue.
You have 10
Oh, hours of operation.
10 a.m. to 11 p.m. on the
Yeah.
application is what you have.
10 to 11 p.m. daily.
Okay.
A delivered restaurant, that's all Rafi does. Any questions, would be happy to answer.
Okay. Assuming you're ADA accessible, I see that you're going to apply for outdoor dining.
No, we have a backyard.
You
We
have a
don't, we're
backyard.
not going to apply. We're not going to apply for outdoor or street seating.
You are not. Okay. Can you provide more detail on the backyard?
It's in the application. It's 16 seats backyard in the back of the building. Covered.
Okay. Covered. Okay. I'm sure Marco will get to this, but we will need to make sure that that is covered under the C of O. But I will save that for Marco. Okay. Any members of the public on this application? Any members of the public?
What? Sorry.
Oh no, I'm not asking you. I'm asking if there's any members of the public. Okay, seeing none. Cause first and then Marco.
So I assume the open dining sidewalk on the application is incorrect?
Yes. We're not going to apply for a sidewalk.
Are there any structures there now in the street or on the sidewalk?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Marco?
Thank you. Do you have a second means of egress from the rear yard?
No.
Okay, so clearly it showed to me that you don't have a CO to use the rear yard. I will support the rest of the application, but not the rear yard.
We have a certificate of occupancy for the backyard in the application. You can look in the application.
It is. You have a CO that said that you can have the rear yard used.
Yes.
Well, if it, I mean,
I'm
I don't
assuming
have.
I'm assuming it's taking. I'm assuming that it's taking seats from the inside, and that's how it's divided. But there is a specific 16 seats certificate of occupancy for the rear backyard.
Okay, if you have the CO that said the use of the rear yard, yes, I will support. Oh, let me see. Oh, this is the CO. Okay, thank you. Oh, I cannot see it. I cannot see what you
It's in
described,
the
but I will.
application. I'm sure you can share
No,
someone.
I didn't have that. But if you have it, the CEO that
Yes.
said the use of the open space, as you said, open
Yes,
space.
it
You
does.
say open space, okay.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
have a legal document, I will support that.
It's part
But
of
I
the,
will
part
be
of,
checking.
it's part of the
the
application, Marco.
Yep, Marco,
Okay.
the CO is on page 16 of the application packet.
I will take a look, but so far I do not have a problem. I will support, but I will check. Thank you.
Great. Addison,
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve this as presented.
okay. Second. Addison, one clarification. I would just like to reiterate the C of O piece on the rear yard.
It's there. I just checked. It's on
Okay.
page 16.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anyone call a question? Bill,
Call a question.
thank you very much. Okay, is anyone opposed calling the question? If not, then this is a motion to approve. If anyone's voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, please give me a sign. Okay, seeing none, this is a 13-0 approval, so thank you very much.
Have a great night, guys. Thanks for having us.
Good
Thank
seeing
you so
Thank
much. Thank you so much.
Okay, so the last in this category for new applications is 1E. Do I have the applicant or representative for Cilantro East, 1712 Second Avenue, liquor, wine, beer, and cider, Cilantro making its return to the Upper East Side? I see Anthony.
Yes, good evening, everybody. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Great. Good evening, everybody. My name's Anthony Caraballo. I'm the representative for this application. I'll give you a brief synopsis so you guys can get home a little early today. This is a premises located at 1712 Second Avenue. It is between 89th and 88th. It's been licensed pursuant to my research at least 2009. There was a Cilantro there before. Then there was another restaurant called Selena Rose. And the latest rendition there was Cascolate. So there's been liquor licenses this premises for many, many years, dating back at least 15 years, a decade and a half. My client, Dogan Caracas, who I think is on the call, is an experienced operator. He's had several licenses. He's currently licensed in Brooklyn with a full liquor license, place called Tipsy's Dog Bar at 400 Troutman Street. He also has the other Cilantro on the other side of town at 485 Columbus. We just got that license. We appeared before CB7. He was very well received. So the hours of operation will be projected. He's going to keep them similar to what they were, 10:30 a.m. to midnight, Sunday to Thursday, seeking Friday and Saturday, 10:30 to 2 a.m. Seating is 18 tables, 54 seats. There'll be 15 seats at a bar. There is a rear yard that has been in operation there, Marco, for several years. I know there was a letter of no objection issued in 2002. I'm not sure if it's contained in there. We'll do additional research on that, obviously. And in terms of cost is concerns, they will be applying for the open restaurants, the new DOT, but not now. This is not something they're entertaining now. And obviously, I think we'd have to come back before you once the protocol is complete. So I would be glad to address any questions the committee might have. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. First, I'll inquire if there's any members of the public on this application. If not, seeing none, I'll go to Marco, then to cause.
Thank you. But I had to mention, I raised a little bit late my hand in the other application. I just checked and doesn't have the use of the rear yard, doesn't mention at all. Probably the person doesn't know how to read the document, but doesn't have in the CO, and the CO is new. So that means clearly probably they had the good intentions to use and DOB deny. Now, for this application, Mr. Carvalho, I would like to know in the letter of no objection that you have that say that you are authorized to use the rear yard.
Great question. I don't, Marco, actually have the letter of no objection. I have a printout from the DOB, which is customary when we review these matters. And it just basically lists a letter of no objection was approved. But you're correct. It would say whether the yard is permitted. So obviously, we would stipulate to the yard being used legally. For prior stipulation to be given to other applicants this evening. They're not going to operate the yard if it's not legal. And I think this yard has been utilized pursuant to my client's information, and I think it's been being used by these occupants for quite some time. So again, we would stipulate that the use of the rear yard needs to be legal with the DOB, obviously.
Well, if you, in this case, usually the letter of no objection very hard that they go beyond what they're supposed to approve. And probably you're lucky because it's in a commercial space. And as a commercial, probably you have more chance to get, but in a residential, it's almost impossible to get a rear yard.
I agree with you.
The issue is right here is I do not have a problem to support seeing that I don't see the document, but I will check later. I don't think it's in the web, the letter of no objection. Well, for that reasons, probably I will support this application because I do not have a way to verify if the rear yard is legal to use or not. The issue is basically is one simple things. I'm joined the community board for my skills. And my skills is in that direction. And why is so important? Because if you don't have two means of egress, people may die in the rear yard. And so knowing that, my obligation is to let it know to the fellow community members that are willing to listen to explain what is the situation. I think the board of president, they reappointed to my position is exactly to have a different point of view, a professional point of view. And that direction, my obligation is to protect the life of the customers in that scenario. And that is why I'm vehemently I present the issue and explain how important it is to have this document. It's a professional people that has been verified that they can be safety used. And thank you so much.
That's fair. That's fair. I found the information I have is the printout that shows a letter of no objection.
Yeah, no, I know that.
So
I'm very
usually
you have to have the
filed
copy.
an one afterwards and got approved. I'm not sure, but we will stipulate to the yard being legal, obviously.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cause.
Yeah, you said you would be applying in the future for a sidewalk. Do you have any structures there now on the street or on the sidewalk?
I was looking, I want to say no. I'm looking at my photos. I have not been out there. I usually do personal visits to locations. I'm scheduled to do this next week. We have not filed with the SLA. So I can't answer that accurately. So I don't want to give the committee misinformation.
But if there is a structure on the sidewalk, that will come down tomorrow, won't it?
It has to come down because the new rules and regulations, they have to be filed by August 3rd. So
Correct.
they come down between August and between November and I believe April. So, and it wouldn't be my clients. My client's taking this over. So we can certainly discuss that should be removed if that's the case.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Okay. Do I have any other committee members who'd like to make a motion? Marco?
Motion to approve as presented.
Great.
With the
stipulation of the legal use of the rear yard if they have it.
Thank you.
Okay. Bill?
Not to call the question.
Okay, great. Is anyone opposed calling the question? There's a motion to approve with the stipulation of lawful use of the rear yard via letter of no objection if they have it. Okay, so if anyone's voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, please give me an indicator. No, not voting for cause or abstaining. Okay, that'll go down as a 13-0 approval. Thank you very much and welcome your client back to the Upper East Side.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you.
Likewise. Okay, moving to category 2. These are change applications, and I have the Mansion Restaurant, 1634 York Avenue. This is a class change. I see John.
How about now?
Yes.
Okay. How are you? My name is Phil Phillips. John Phillips is my son. I'll give you a brief history of the mansion. Mansion's been here since 1945. We're celebrating our 79th year. My father opened it in 1945. Mansion had a full liquor license from 1980 to 2005. When I gave the store to my son, I knocked it down to beer and wine because Mansion is a restaurant, a family restaurant, and alcohol is about 4% of our sales. With outdoor dining and the new, more modern way of purveying alcohol without a bar, the drinks come in a can and you put them in a glass. That's the only way we could accommodate it. We have no space for bottles in a bar. Mansion, as you're probably aware of, is 96% food. Our hours of operation are 6 in the morning until midnight. Our outdoor dining stops at 9:30 every night. And it's an accommodation. It's not an intricate part of the business. We just want to accommodate a handful of people that would like a Bloody Mary or a margarita. There's no entertainment, and everything else speaks for itself, and I'll answer any questions you have.
Understood. Thank you very much. Appreciate your presentation. Do I have any members of the public on this application? Okay, seeing none, I will go to Marco.
I would like to put a motion. The motion is to approve as presented and then to speak.
I'm
If
happy to
anybody
second
can
that.
second.
Yep.
Okay. First of all, Mr. Phillips, I can talk anything negative about your place. I can talk something nice always. Yes, I pass frequently for that place. I see it full of residents, and constantly the police department or officer is in your place, which basically makes safe that location. If some people drink more than they're supposed to drink, they are in serious trouble, and I don't think it's gonna be the scenario in your place. And I had to congratulate that without no financial recompense, you provide bathroom for the community, which is something unique. And that basically, I never see this kind of situation. And I had to stop because I think we had to move forward. And I have to keep talking very nice about your restaurant.
Thank you.
Definitely is a restaurant. It's an asset for the community. And thank you so much for this service that you provide for the community. Thank you.
Marco. Let me just relay one story. After I live on the block, I was born on the block 72 years ago. I'm still here. I own the buildings. My son lives upstairs. I had a customer come in one day and she was offended because there were double parked police cars outside. So she registered a complaint with the city. So Highway 1 is not allowed to come to the mansion because this woman had a problem with a double parked police car. So thank you.
Thank you. Addison?
I'd like to make a motion to approve this as presented.
Actually, Marco made the motion already, so you're welcome
And
to
then I
call.
will.
You want to call?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Is anyone opposed calling the question? Okay. If anyone's voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, please let me know by raising your virtual hand. Otherwise, you will go down as a yes vote. Voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining. Okay, seeing none. Thank you very much. This is approved, and continued success, and glad to have you part of our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to category 3. These are the 30-day waiver applications. Do I have 3A? This is 1617 York Avenue, Arturo's. This was for a liquor, wine, beer, and cider.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. This is Joseph Napolitano, owner of Arturo's Restaurant, 85th Street and York Avenue, 1617. And I'm not like Phil, but we've been there for 40-something years now. We opened in 82. We've not had any kind of problems with 911 calls or anything. Our hours of operation are 4 to 11, 7 days a week. We close on Christmas and Thanksgiving. If there's any questions, please let me know.
Oh, thank you. Just what was the cause of the delay of the 30-day notice?
I was just waiting for the application from the from the liquor board, and I just received it 5 days ago.
Okay. All right. So we'll chalk it up to mail. Thank you very much. Okay. Do I have any members of the public on this one? Okay. If not, I'll go to cause, then to Marco.
Yeah, can you explain the DOT open restaurant permit to us?
I'm sorry, the what?
You have DOT open restaurant permit.
What's a DIT, sir?
DOT department. Well, it's on the application.
I'm sorry?
Am I reading the wrong one?
I don't know what the DOT is, sir.
Department of Transport, open restaurant, sidewalk cafe, street permit.
Yes, we're going to apply. We haven't applied yet. We have a structure right now. There was two structures, and we took one down on 85th Street. We removed that, and the only one that's left is on York Avenue Street.
And that's on the street, not on the sidewalk.
Right now, it's on the street. I'm hoping to apply for it to have the sidewalk and the street only on York Avenue, not on 85th.
Okay, no, I see that that you've applied already, but you haven't. Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Marco?
Thank you. I would like to put a motion, and the motion is to approve as presented and then to speak.
You have seconds, so please speak.
Well, yes, I love your pizza, by the way. I constantly, that was the place that I go frequently, and all your workers are my friends, and the pizza is great, definitely. And this is what I would like to support, and I never see nothing wrong. It's similar to Mansion. I think they are very good restaurants, familiar restaurants, and I enjoy those places. Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Addison?
Now I'll call the question on it.
Great. Does anyone opposed calling a question? Okay, seeing none, this is a motion to approve. If anyone's voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, please give me an indication. Voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining. Okay, seeing none, this will go as an approval. Thank you very much, and continued success.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, next item, 3B. Do I have Taste of Shanghai Restaurant, 242 East 79th Street? This is a renewal for liquor, wine, beer, and cider.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. My name is Jay. I'm the representative. I tried to renew the liquor licenses, which is going to expire in, I believe, in April, the end of April. And somehow the SLA sent the renewal advisory very late. And then we lost the chances to notify you like a couple of months before it expired. That was the main reason. And it is a Chinese restaurant, open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Monday through Saturday, and Sunday is at 12 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. We don't have any bars, and we have about 72 sittings at the table. And it's a typical Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, great, understood. Thank you. That it's a renewal, and it was a mix-up with the renewal. Understood. Do I have any members of the public on this application? Okay, seeing none, I will go to Marco.
Motion to approve as presented. Thank you.
You have seconds, and I will go to Bill.
Call the question.
Great, thank you very much. If anyone opposes calling a question, let me know. Motion to approve. If anyone's voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining, please give me an indicator, or this will go down as a yes vote. No, not voting for cause or abstaining. Okay, seeing none, that'll go as a approval, 13-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One last point for all of the remaining applicants that are still here with us, and my mea culpa that I did not mention this sooner. In accordance with the appearing for this committee meeting, you have to post flyers. Please also remember to take down the flyers after the full board meeting. Well, actually after this meeting, so that those do not stay on the affixed to the where you posted them. So for those of you still here, thank you very much to do so. Okay. Last but not least, 3C, Botant Inc., DBA Momokawa, 1466 First Avenue, also a renewal liquor, wine, beer, and cider.
Hi, it's me.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. My name is Mia Okuda, owner of Momokawa Japanese restaurant, located 1466 First Avenue. I'm here to request waiver of the standard 30 days notice required for the renewal of medical license. If you have any question, just let me know.
Was there an issue with the mail, or what was the reason for the
Yes,
delay?
unfortunately, I did not receive any customary renew notice
Okay,
from the agency.
understood. Thank you. Do I have any members of the public for this application? Okay, seeing none, I will go to Marco.
Thank you. A motion to approve as presented.
Happy to second that. So does Lindsay. Bill.
Call the question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, this is going to be a motion to approve. If anyone's voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, please give me an indicator. Voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining. Okay, seeing none, 13-0 approval. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, and
Thank you
good luck.
very much.
Continue good luck with the restaurant.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, for the last category, I will hand over to Lindsay.
All right, so now we're moving on to the application for a new adult use retail dispensary license. And if anyone from the Cove Collective Corporation is here, if you'll let us know. Okay, so this is similar to a situation that happened to us last month where we don't have a representative from the applicant. And I think what we did last month was we ended up having a disapproval. And this month, what I think would be better for us to do is specify what that disapproval looks like. And in my mind, that would be where we say how many times this applicant was laid over, and then just indicate that they haven't submitted any documents to Community Board 8 because they haven't. And that I think sort of outlines why it is that we might consider disapproving them. Addison?
Yeah, I'm happy to make that motion. If it's seconded.
Second.
Okay. Marco?
And the only thing that I would add is that I would be concerned about any place trying to open a dispensary in the neighborhood, and they don't have the management consideration to come before us and explain and take public comments. So yeah, that would also be
I think that's correct. And I think this might be something that the applicants kind of indicated there was uncertainty on their end on what's happening at OCM. And I'm afraid that we might have a few more that look like this. And so it's just maybe something that we are starting to see the pattern and we understand it now.
Perfect. Awesome.
Marco?
Thank you. If nobody want to speak, I would like to call the question.
I think that seems reasonable. All right, so this is a motion to disapprove this new license. And so if there's anyone who wants to vote in the opposite direction or abstain, not vote for cause, please let me know. Otherwise, this will go down as unanimous disapproval.
And
Robert,
just to make
still, Go ahead.
I was just going to say, just to make it clear for everyone or the board members, it's a disapproval, so a yes is a no and a no is a yes. And go ahead, Lindsay. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
Not at all. I was going to ask you though. I still think the count is the same. No one's dropped off. Does that seem right to you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
by my count.
Okay. So that seems like that's going to be a 13-0 disapproval.
Okay. There's no other old or new business. We'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Addison? Oh, wait, I see a public hand.
Laura Jackson?
Yeah, hello. I don't know if this is the appropriate forum. Let me turn on my video. Or if this has already been addressed, but I have a question about on street corners all over New York, there are these orange compost bins. Is that something that has anything to do with you guys or not?
Not really. No, this committee doesn't deal with that. There is the sanitation committee and environment committee. That would be probably better places to address.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Oz?
Yeah, just for your information, these are compost bins that have been put out by the DSNY, but for these you need an app to open them. So eventually there's composting going to be in the city, but these are sporadic and they're for compost right away for you to use. Thanks.
Addison, I feel like your hand was up.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, as one of the co-chairs of the Environment Committee, and I guess soon to be Environment and Sanitation Committee, I just wanted to extend a welcome, Laura, if you wanted to come to one of our meetings, and if you had anything to share about that. So, thank you.
Okay, Robert, let's unmute Laura once more.
Thank you. Sorry, since there was a response, I just want to say that all of these bins say compost, but apparently it's not compost. The final product is not soil, it's biogas, and they're interfering with a large movement toward reinstating community compost. So just wanted to express that, but thank you. I'll take that up at the appropriate committee.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Does anyone want to make any motions? Addison?
Motion to adjourn.
That sounds
Second.
lovely. Good night, everyone.